So, okay, I hope I answered your question, and let's start for today's lecture. Okay, okay. This is my office. Okay, A308. Okay, so today we are going to study architectures. Okay, only architecture. So there are five type of architectures we will study. First, we are going to understand that what are architectural styles, what is system architecture, what is centralized architecture, what is decentralized architecture. Okay, and then we will just illustrate hybrid okay. So so here we have two key concepts. Okay, one is software architectures and one is system architectures. Okay, so do you already know about these thing or any difference between these two, software architecture and system architecture? So there is a key difference between these two. Okay, so if you are listening and intentively, so you can learn it or remember it, inshallah, even after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay, so try to get the uh, grasp of a lecture and the key concept in the lecture. Okay, then you go and read and watch the video lectures again. Okay, so in software architecture, they described actually the organization of interaction of software component. So this is all about interaction. Okay, but if you talk about system architectures, they deal with placement of software components. Okay, this is kind of related to the software applications, and this is related to the actual devices. Okay, where we want to place these softwares. So this focus on logical organization of software component and their interaction. Okay, the software architecture. If you just tell me that software architecture is related to the logical organization of software components and their interaction, this is enough. Okay, I'm not asking you to cram this from start to start with even the hyphen and full. So this is not the purpose. Purpose is to understand the concepts. Okay, well, then system architecture is talking about the placement of software components on physical machines. Okay, so do you know the difference now, right? Okay, is this clear? Okay, good. The realization of an architecture may be centralized and decentralized. Okay, so anyone can explain what is centralized architecture and what is decentralized? Just rough idea. Okay, yes, any participant from class to MS Teams. Okay, so centralized is in which communication is through a common point. Okay, everything has to go through centralized authority. So this is centralized architecture. Decentralized is like a P2P. Two-person, if they want to share the file, they can share it with each other. Okay, so this is P2P. This is decentralized. Okay, and the example of centralized is client-server architecture. Okay, so I think now it is clear. Okay, yes, बिल्कुल हो सकती है. ये डिपेंड करता है कि does it match the this architecture framework or not. Okay, the components are actually integrated in certain way. If that exists in cluster or grid computing architecture, that's fine. Okay, so okay, an architecture style describes a particular way to configure a collection of components and connectors. Okay, so by using this architectural style, so there exist following architecture which are suitable for distributed systems. Okay, so these are layered architectures, object-based architectures, data-centered architectures, and event-based architectures. Okay, so example of layered architecture that is very common in networking domain. the layered architecture, which is most popular when we talk about IP communication. So that is OSI layer model. Okay. Okay. And then object based model architecture is there, and which the communication is through objects. Okay. So we will study these things later on as well. So what is component? A component is a module with well-defined interfaces that should be reusable and replaceable. Okay. If someone asks you architecture in terms of component definition in terms of architectures, okay, or distributed architecture in this case, so we will say that it should be reusable, it should be replaceable, okay, it should be reconfigurable. Okay. So communication, what is connector? Connector is a communication link between the modules. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so these are the architecture styles. Again, layered architecture. So most widely used example is OSI model. Okay, so you know the OSI 7 layers. Okay, you guys have a computer science background. Okay, you must have studied about network communication, not as a course, but as a part of in any course, right? Okay, so there are 7 layers, starting from application layer and going down to the like uh, physical layer. Okay, so in this components are organized in a layered manner. Okay, so this is how the object based architecture works, connected through well-defined interfaces. Okay, we have already studied what is an interface. Okay, actually connector. Okay, connector are used to connect the interfaces of different components. So this is the difference. Architecture matches with the client server system. Anyway, so we had dev into